Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever it is for you while you're watching this. I hope your day has been great and I hope your day has been blessed. Let's talk about the 3 books that I finished this month. Last month I got like 16. Don't know how it happened. This month we are the 10th of November and I'm only at 3. So, it's quality over quantity, right? Anyway, the first one we finished came from my library, The Christmas Inn. Had no idea what this was. They just they knew I liked Christmas stuff, so they just threw that in there. I really enjoyed it. I think it was more of developing a relationship with your mom and your sister after the girl moved back home to help her mom with her bed and breakfast because her mom had broken her leg. And she had kind of a little bit lost touch with her sister and her mom since she had lived away from them. So it was reconnecting with them, redeveloping her relationship with them, and also reconnecting with an old flame. It was great. Nice, fluffy, Hallmark-like Christmas movie kind of thing. And I enjoyed it. Definitely recommend. The next one we finished was also from my library, not Christmas. It's called The Good Part. This girl's having a hard time in her life. She's struggling a bit. She doesn't have a great job. Her apartment sucks. A lot of her life situation in her early 20s kind of stinks. And she makes a wish one night on a wishing machine that she could just skip to the good part of her life. And the next morning she wakes up, she's married, she has 2 kids. She doesn't remember them, doesn't remember anything about it. So it's kind of her learning her husband and her children and just going through life while she's trying to figure out how to get back because she's completely freaked out. But she ends up falling in love with her husband and falling in love with her children, and when it questioning whether she wants to go back in the end or if she just wants to stay with where she's at. And to me, this was unique, and I really enjoyed this one too. The third book I read was on my Kindle. It's called A Christmas Swap. I didn't enjoy as much. It was not a bad story at all. It was good. But there was 3 different characters, and it was taking place in 3 different places. They were in England for one character, in Australia for another character, in Colorado for another character. And pretty much every chapter is switching from character to character. And honestly, I got confused at who was who half the time. And all 3 of them had found love interests. How do I explain this? So each girl was from a different place. One was from Australia, one was from England, and one was from Colorado. Well, they were all kind of fed up with the way things go for their Christmas, so they kind of switched. The one from Australia went to Colorado, and Colorado went to England, and England went to Australia, or something like that. I might be completely wrong, but they all switched places for Christmas. And while they were in their switched places, they found men that they were interested in, kind of were dating these men. And it was really confusing to try to keep track of, okay, this one's here for Christmas, but she's from this place. And who is this one with again? Which guy is she with? I couldn't keep track of who was with who and where they were from and all that stuff. It was good if you could keep up with it all. But I felt like every time we were switching a chapter, I was refiguring out who was who and what was going on in every chapter. And it was a little bit confusing. So it wasn't my favorite. It really wasn't bad, but if you can keep track of all the characters, you would enjoy it more, but I had a hard time with it. My brain's a little bit all over the place, I guess, but that's just me. It's almost midnight. I'm tired, but I was reading just one more chapter, and we finished it. This was really cute. All the fall vibes. It's set in a coffee shop. They're making pumpkin spice lattes. It couldn't get more fall than this. Cute little YA book. Honestly, not much romance in it at all. It was adorable. My only complaint is that even though I bought this at Barnes and Noble, like something is wrong with the spine. It was so incredibly hard to hold this book open. The pages were just messed up somehow. I don't know. But that was my one complaint, that the book itself was messed up. The story was wonderful. We finished 2 more books so far in November. We are November 15th, so exactly halfway through, and I have 6 books finished, so not too bad. The next book I finished was A Princess for Christmas, which actually, A Princess for Christmas was not on my TBR for this month. I was supposed to read it next month, but I got antsy and I did it. It was about a princess coming to New York for a business deal, and she hired a guy from Brooklyn to drive her around for the days while she was there. And she offered him a lot of money, which he could use because he's raising his sister since his parents had passed away. She's kind of like Sunshine, he's grumpy. She invited him and his sister back to her castle in her country for Christmas because they were alone. They had nobody else. So they go travel over there to her country and do things together, spend time together, and end up falling for each other. And it was really cute. And to see how that worked out. So I really enjoyed it. I think there are 2 more in that little series that she wrote. I think her name is Jenny Holiday or something. And so I'll probably end up picking up the other 2 at some point. It may not be this year, might be next year. I don't know. We'll see, because I have a lot on my plate this year for Christmas stuff. The next book I read, oh my gosh. I have heard first book was great, second book, not so great, third book, amazing. And it did not disappoint. This went where I didn't think it was going to go. I was completely shocked, but maybe that's just me because I don't read a lot of thriller stuff. It blew my mind. A tiny bit disturbing, but phenomenal. I definitely need to see what else Holly Jackson has written because I would definitely be interested in reading more of her stuff. This was amazing. I can't give too much details because you really need to read the first one and the second one to understand a lot of what's going on in this one, but this is definitely a series worth picking up, and this ends the series for me, so that's another bonus. Hi y'all, we are November 23rd, and we've finished 4 more books for the month of November, so let's chat a little bit about the 4 books I finished. The first one is How My Neighbors Stole Christmas. This was not on my TBR. My husband let me pick it up. We were passing through Walmart one day, and I loved it because it has pictures. Where is it? There's some cute pictures scattered throughout the book. It it was cute. There was a little bit of unnecessary amount of spice to it, which we skipped through. Um, but really, it was a How the Grinch Stole Christmas retelling as a romance, which was a little bit strange. But I think the thing that bothered me the most is that this girl, the main character's name was Story Taylor, like storyteller. I don't know. It just bothered me for some reason. It just bothered me. Anyway, it wasn't a bad book. Be aware that there is spice in it. So if you're not into that, you're either going to have to skip over it like I did or just not read it. The next one we have is The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I don't know if this was her debut book or not. I know that this little trilogy, this one being the first one, is the only books that I have left from her that I have not read. So I wanted to read it. My sister did warn me, and I'm warning you, like trigger warnings or whatever they talk about IVF and not being able to get pregnant and things like that. So if that is a trigger for you, you are warned. What she did not, my sister did not tell me was that that was like just the tip of the iceberg of trauma in this book. There was, I hate crying in books. I've talked about this plenty of times. I hate crying in books. And this book made me cry. And I don't know if I'm mad at it or not. But just when you think like things are turning up, things are getting better, then nope, here you go, trauma on a platter. There you go. So I spent some time crying on my sofa finishing the rest of this book. It was a great story. Um, Female main character has really bad period. She has problems with her ovaries and stuff like that. And so she is scheduled to get a hysterectomy. And she doesn't think she deserves a man who wants to have a family and to have kids because she can't give him that. So uh, that's kind of what the story is about. And her trying to figure out, her worth not being able to have children. So it was good. I enjoyed it, even though it made me cry. And we'll see what the next one in that series holds. My next read was Heir Apparently. This is the second one. I don't know if it's a duology or if it's going to be a trilogy. I don't know. But the first one was like a comet is coming to hit Earth and everybody's going to die. They have 8 days left to live. And she accidentally meets the prince, and he wants her to help him to live, like to get to his vacation home so that he can live out the rest of the 8 days um, as a normal person and not a prince. So that's their adventure in the first one. In this one, I can't tell you exactly what happens because spoilers, but they end up on a plane crash on an island and trying to get rescued. But that's about all I can tell you as far as details because I don't want to ruin the first book. Definitely love these. Very cute. The last one is a chunker. Big one. A Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers. So this is only a second book that I've read by Francine Rivers. I loved this book and I need to get my hands on the next one in this series because this sucker left off on a huge cliffhanger and I need to know what happens. So I don't know if I'm going to try to order the second and third one like used from thrift books or something, or if I'm just going to get them from my library. But this one I do own, so I kind of would like to have the other two to go with it. But definitely want to do that soon because this book was amazing. Chef's kiss. Loved it. You should check out Francine Rivers if you haven't, especially if you like Christian authors, Christian writers. This is great. So, that being said, we are at 10 books for the month of November right now. Hi, friends. It is the last day of November, and we are going to talk about the last 4 books I've read in November. We had a pretty good month. Did pretty good. I think honestly, these last couple ones I was not expecting to finish before November ended, but we did. So let's talk about these last 4. Lost December. I was really excited about this one. It was it says it's a prodigal son retelling in like Christmas form. I loved every bit of this. It was obviously told more of like a modern day kind of thing. So it was a little bit different. But I feel like that also helped make the story of the prodigal son a little more realistic and easier to understand, if that makes sense. And I really loved the way he told it. I loved the way he went about the story and about coming back home and God's forgiveness, your parents' forgiveness, that kind of stuff. I just loved everything about this. I will be looking for more books that Richard Paul Evans has written. I know for a fact that my library has a bunch that he has written, so I'll probably be checking some out. All right, next one we have is The Holiday Honeymoon Switch. Got this one at Barnes and Noble on a date with my husband. He kind of seems like every time he takes me on a date, it involves taking me after to Barnes and Noble, buttering me up some more, and I'm not complaining. So this is one I found. Holly, their best friends, Holly and Ivy. Holly was getting married, and the day before her wedding, her fiance came and was like, I'm not in love with you. I don't want to get married. I think I have feelings for somebody else. And she's like devastated, but like not devastated all at the same time. She's kind of confused as to why she's not more devastated. Um, but anyway, she doesn't want to waste the money they paid for the honeymoon, but she also doesn't want to go on her honeymoon either. So she sends her best friend Ivy on her honeymoon to Hawaii, and she takes Ivy's vacation to the mountains, like a little cabin in the mountains. So like they switched vacations, and if you can't tell from the picture, Ivy meets somebody in Hawaii on the honeymoon, and Holly meets, well, she doesn't meet him. It was her old high school nemesis owns the cabin that she's staying in. So that was interesting little twist there, but it was really good. I loved it. I like the found family aspect they had in it, and I don't know. It was really cute. I think I would look for more books by this author again. Enjoyed it. The next one, I don't have a physical copy. I listened to it on audiobook, just audiobook. It was Love Light Farms. I've heard a lot of people talking about Love Light Farms and them liking it, and it was pretty good. I think it might be a little more hyped up than it should be, but it wasn't bad. Can't remember her name. The girl, the main character, she owns a Christmas tree farm that is not doing too well at the moment. And she enters a social media contest that she could win some money that would help her Christmas tree farm. When she fills out the application for the contest, she puts on it she owns a Christmas tree farm with her boyfriend, a boyfriend that doesn't exist. So she asked her male best friend if he would pretend to be her boyfriend while the social media influencer comes and interviews her and all that, and see if she can win. She's like, "Can you pretend to be my boyfriend while the person is here, and that way I don't look like I'm a liar?" And you know that whole fake dating thing. We know how that works out in the end. So it was cute. I enjoyed it. I just didn't think that it was as great as people hype it up to be. But then maybe, like I said, maybe it's because I've heard people hype it up so much that when I go into it, I have like these really high expectations because everybody's talking about it, and then end up falling a little bit flat. I don't know. Like I said, it wasn't a bad book. It just wasn't great. It wasn't wonderful like everybody talks about. So We'll see. But I'll probably still try to try the other ones in the series because I think there's like 4 at least. I'm pretty sure. And it's like the different seasons. Like this one was Christmas, winter. I think the next one is spring. So we'll see. The last book, I went and find Francine Rivers at my local library to see if they had any of her other books because I read The Voice in the Wind and absolutely loved it. But I'm not quite ready to go into the next one, the second one in that series just yet. So I picked this one up because it's really small and it's called Unashamed and it's about Rahab in the Bible. And I didn't know what to expect, but this was amazing. Like the Lost December with the prodigal son story, this one, I know Rahab's story, hanging the scarlet cord out of her window when they were marching around Jericho to try to take Jericho. But this puts you in her mind almost and like the person that she was and wanting to give that up so willingly to follow God. She wanted to be like the Israelites. She wanted to be a child of God. She didn't want to be where she was anymore. And she fully trusted God with the little knowledge that she knew. She fully trusted God to protect herself and her family when, in a sense, it looked like their world was about to crumble. But she trusted that God was going to keep her safe. And that faith is amazing. So I love this one. She has 4 more. I think Tamar, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary, it says on the front. So these, and they're all little like this. So definitely going to pick some more of these up and read some more of these because I loved how it changed the way I saw Rahab in that story. So that's all we read in November. We had a good reading month. I hope December is good too. Remember that God loves you and I love you and you are important.